What's going on, Painter people? Thank you for the subs. The Idiot Painter, Flapjack, Nickelsack, and Era Glassworks. Appreciate it, y'all. How you guys doing? You know, the battle in the chat, Nortox, Poke Dog Paints, Uncle Matthew, of course, here as always, and Wolfgrave. What up, guys? They were painting Darth Vader in a red paint scheme. And that's kind of it, you know? It's crunchy painting. Reaper Miniatures with a rate of 44. Woo! Let's fucking go. Let's go. Thank you for the raid, guys. Appreciate it. You guys always raid at the best times. What up, HUD? 1 week to Adepticon, indeed. Indeed. Today's Tuesday, so in a week and 1 day, I'll be driving to Chicago for that first Wednesday. Pretty short mail time. I was looking for a game. I mentioned this on the podcast. If you're not familiar, I'm in a podcast called Trapped Under Plastic with me and another miniature painting YouTuber, Ninjan. Go check it out anywhere you can find podcasts. But on a recent episode, I was talking about board games I want to play that kind of give you that RPG experience. And ultimately, I settled on Jaws of the Lion, which still super enjoying that. It's amazing. Can't recommend it enough. What up, Summon Lesser Maker? But one thing I also really enjoyed when I was doing that video where I was like testing a bunch of board games. I played a session of Oathsworn, and I freaking loved it. And so while I was looking for games to play with my personal friend group, I reached out to the guys that make Oathsworn, and I was like, hey, I really enjoyed playing your game in this video. Like, would you ever consider sending me a copy so I could play with my friends? And I was really transparent about the fact that, you know, it might never make it into a video and stuff like that. But they sent me this massive game. I have too many of these games now. Too many games with giant boxes and tons of miniatures in them. But I'm excited to play this. Me and my friends often do a little cabin board game retreat, and this is definitely the one that we're gonna bring next time. I'm excited. I'm technically in an online class right now, but it's boring as hell, so I'd rather watch you defile the sanctity of Star Wars. Well, you've come to the right place. Bad taste aficionado. What up, McBlub? Is the sound only delayed for me? It's just a bit, but a little confusing. No, it's definitely for you as well. Sorry, it's for everyone. I mean, there's a little bit of delay in the audio. I just haven't fixed it, if I'm being quite honest. I thought we already did fix it. I've actually never seen these models not painted. So I want to just look at one of the standard hero characters. If you are into Oathsworn, we're not going to be cracking open boxes of like monsters and heroes you can take later in the game. Just the standard ones that come available immediately. You don't have too many games. You have too little storage space. That's what I'm talking about, Carson. Okay, you're my homie. What do you call a kid born in a whorehouse? A brothel sprout. Nice. If an alien does it leave a ghost? If an alien is born in a brothel? My brain is too short span to know what that reference is, or like where that fit in when I was saying things. I like move on so quickly in my brain. That Oathsworn box says Standy. Oh no. Did it say that? Oh no, did it say that? Oh no. I thought it said standard version. Oh no. Oh, there's minis. What the fuck? There's minis. The deep wood holds many mysteries, and so does this box. Do not open any boxes, envelopes, or books, nor look at the faces of any cards or boards until told to do so. I shan't, game. What are the odds you can get through this whole campaign in like a super long weekend? How many hours of playing is this game really? Yeah, there's tons of minis in this game. I just want to see the heroes. I just want to see one of the heroes. Okay. This guy seemed like a pretty good one here. Let's take a look at it together. Nice. Great camera. Try that again. Someone's been watching Yeah Mad. I have no idea what that is. Dice-based games, easy. Same issue, just got a ton of minis from the Last Dungeon and Lasers Kickstarter, and I have no idea where I'm going to store this fruit, let alone the built models, yeah. I mean, bad taste aficionado you are. It does say standee version, but there are miniatures in here, so I'm not really necessarily sure what's going on there. But anyways, here is an unpainted model from this game. Let's just take a look at it. I'm gonna give you my real-time thoughts on miniature design. Now that I have a unpainted version of this model. Should I buy a 3,000 point Custodes army for $600? I mean, I have no idea. Is that a good price? Seems like an okay price. I feel like a 2,000 point army could easily cost $600 in a different faction, so that seems pretty reasonable. Okay, so first of all, larger figure, you know, larger figures are good when you don't have your casting methodology on point. In terms of material, it's scrapable. It's not rubbery. You can see the shavings on my knife there, so that's great. It's a hard plastic, comes pre-assembled. You can see some of the connection points for the sprues. You can see some mold lines and stuff like that. There's some minimal gaps, but like whatever, honestly. It comes assembled, so that's pretty nice. Actually, it's a push fit design. So I actually should be able to, yeah, just pop out the arm. Which actually, that's pretty interesting, because you could ostensibly take apart the whole model, clean it, and then if you're one of those weird people that paint in subassemblies, you could paint them all in subassemblies if you wanted to. Okay, so in terms of material and production, this is ace. I really appreciate what they're doing here. It's like kind of the best of both worlds. Not only is it assembled when you get it, and for most people, it'll stay together that way forever. But if you wanted to take it apart and clean it and, you know, treat it like a real miniature, you know, you could do that. So that's cool. All right, now onto the more aesthetic comments. Okay, every time I read okay, I have Ramus voice in my head from LOL. I don't know who that is. Goddamn, this wrist strength support that hammer. Dude, he's got, I mean, yeah, this is quite a large hammer, you're right. My guy's got some strong wrists. Pre-assembled paws, I really love that game to go there out today, yeah. The one thing that's bizarre to me is his feet are so tiny. Like the width of his like armor on his ankle is like 3/4 the length of his foot. And so it gives him this really dainty foot look. It's like almost like he has hooves. So that's a problem. I think these feet should definitely be longer, or this should be thinner. Honestly, it's so thick right here. I don't know why it's so thick. The feet are kind of enormous, actually, even compared to like the kneecap and whatnot. In terms of like leg length to like torso length, it's pretty good. It should be longer than torso. That's always a problem. Details, pretty good in the chainmail. Everything is incredibly paintable. There's something bizarre going on with like, he looks like his whole body is too long compared to the length of his arm. I don't know what the ratio is or what it should be, but like when I'm looking at it, Like it just feels off. It feels like this one kind of feels okay. But this one, because it's, I don't know, maybe it seems longer because it's on an angle, but this one, because it's perpendicular to the body, it just seems like it's shorter, and it seems too short. But otherwise, detail is great. I see belt buckles. I see like detail in like the palm of his hand. I see knuckle details and joints and filigree on the armor right here. Definitely paintable. Could be a little bit better. I'm seeing eyeballs. This is a very challenging model to paint. Its eyeballs, just because it's, you know, you're blocked by the hood on either side. I would love to see like this lip pop out a little bit more, because like once you paint this beard and stuff, like you're never going to be able to really see that lip, and you're just going to be guessing. Does the head come off? Oh my God, the head's a separate part as well. Oh my God, that's amazing. That is so nice. They really didn't need to do that, honestly. Like they're doing that for, I think they're doing that for the convenience of the hobbyist, honestly, which is super nice. All right, this is impressive. Yeah, I have no regrets about where I placed this company in that roundup video that I made. The copy that I got was pre-painted, so I wasn't totally sure if I was putting them in the right spot, but now that I see the bare plastic, honestly, it's good. It's good. Team Fuck Eyes. What up, Doomed Paints? Ramus from League of Legends. Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you. The small feet explains the oversized hammer. Xander Zone 2424. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. He's wearing hybrid platform high heel boots. Yeah, it seems that way, honestly. Last time I was paying attention. Okay, yeah, we're talking about the Casotes. I like that there's not too many details. Yes, of course, of course. Come to the dark side. I'm never gonna come to that dark side, you know? I'm all about painting all the details on the model with at least like a base coat. Because I just feel like it makes the model just look so much cooler when you do that. But it makes it take a lot longer to paint, so I'm not saying it's the right method, you know? That model is totally slap choppable. Definitely slap choppable. I've actually never slap chopped a model before, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, I like the large texture on the chainmail. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Good model. I like this model. Like aesthetically, in terms of it's like a character. He's like a cool, like kind of like, you know, paladin type dude, which I always like paladin type dudes. There's a lot of heroes in here that you could play as, I believe. Oh yeah, wow, okay. This guy is really opening his legs to the world here. He's like, look at my dick, look at it. Arm lengths here and leg lengths a lot better. So I'm assuming it's just a matter of the posture of that last guy, because like he's moving his arm across what seems like a shoulder because of its shoulder pad. It shortens the perceivable length of his arm. Big long sword too. Nice, good shit. All right, happy with those models. Can't wait to crack into the game, give it a shot. Regarding Necromunda, my gang is complete and it is looking so fabulous. I can't wait to show you guys my gang, but I'm saving the joy till later. I'm saving the joy for when the video comes out. And I'm working on the video right now, writing the script today, but I'm so happy with the whole thing. Speaking of Necromunda, I'm playing my third game for my Dominion campaign today. A little bit of a late night game. All right, cool. That's Oathsworn. Now let's get to painting Daddy V. I'm just sitting here doing some planning for what to do next on my Usharan. I'm just sitting here waiting for them to release Abarash. That's what I'm sitting here waiting for. Face cod piece. Yeah, it seems like you got kind of like a mask thing. Kind of reminds me of your Song of Ice and Fire dudes. Yeah, definitely. It's got a little bit of that vibe. It's a little bit bigger, but yeah. What do you think of the new Kroot? Can't wait to get my hands on them. You know, I don't think I've seen them yet. I think I'm aware that there are some new Kroot models, but I can't really remember what they look like. Stoked to see your COD art? Yeah, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very excited. Having a blast making the video right now. Okay. Alamo, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. The paint stream to reveal video pipeline feels correct. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I might start my squats if I can get my ass off my couch. Yeah, we got a squat player in our league. They seem pretty good. All right, cool. So let's talk about Vader. Let's talk about his current problems and how I'm going to hope to fix those problems. So first of all, you know, he's got. It's important when you're doing NMM to pick an angle, right? And so a very reasonable angle would be the camera directly in front of his body. The camera being like us, the viewer. That's the angle I care about. So like this. This is reasonable because it has the face looking off axis, which is good. That's helpful for NMM. I didn't choose that. I thought when I was painting, I was like, man, his face is so menacing and just like, it's not, I mean, it's a machine face. How can it be menacing, Scott? But it feels so, he's just like staring into your soul behind that mask. And so I chose to have it front on. Front on is not an easy perspective to sell like NMM. It's just hard because the symmetry makes it like, I don't know, look less correct. I'm not sure exactly why it's harder. Sammy D, I'm glad you're looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to making it. Everything is fun right now for me. It's amazing. I'm so embarrassed. But you can see like he's got the hood thing. So I got little specular highlights right here on top of his hooded brow. And then you can see how it's like most intense right here in the center of the face. And then as we kind of peel back to the top of the dome, it gets darker around the perimeter. So that is how it should work, but you know, I don't know, it doesn't look amazing. Something about it doesn't look reflective. And then if we kind of take a peep at some of these other angles, you know, it becomes more convincing. I need to increase the exposure so you can actually see these highlights. But yeah, we got a little bit of highlight right back there. And you can kind of see what I mean here. There's a lack of symmetry here, right? I got a bright line right there and then darkness and then another line. And then on this side, it's a wider fat highlight into a wider, like kind of fatter shadow. So like that lack of symmetry in my brain helps me to perceive this more as NMM. And there's the other side. Okay, so that's the current state of affairs with Vader. What I want to do today is, you know, maybe fix the head a little bit, if we can. One thing I definitely want to fix is adding more saturation. When I painted his head, I didn't have a saturated paint, but now because I'm at the office, I do. So we got this Procreal Red, Chimera Red also works. We'll use some of that, see if we can get it juicier looking, and then move on to maybe the shoulder piece, which also is supposed to be like a glossy red. I feel like the symmetry, yeah, I think that's definitely accurate. Like never even in, I mean, unless he's standing in a white box, it's not gonna be that perfect, you know? Okay. So I'm gonna go take a look at what I have over here. I think I'm a fool and I brought all of my, I totally did. All of my red ink and stuff I brought to my house because I thought I was gonna paint Vader there. We'll just stick with what we got. All right, so we need some white paint, some red and some black. Keeping it simple today. And we'll go with Citadel black just because it's a little bit more satin and that helps in trying to get that kind of shiny look. What up, Blue Nine? Yes, Ultra Krill, not Pro Krill. Okay, let's do it. Got this, perf. All right, 1 second. I want to get my remote camera working here so I can increase the exposure without touching the camera and making it all shaky for y'all. Painting an Adepta Sororitas Rhino. It's a good day in Toronto. Hell yeah, dude. I freaking love Adepta love Sisters of Battle. They're so cool. The whole Inquisition and Everything about that is so cool. Even Grey Knights are awesome, you know? Waiting for that Kickstarter myself. Ultra Krill? Oh, these paints to show up. Nice, nice. They're pretty good. I mean, I've been enjoying using them. They're nice and saturated. They're basically like Chimera. Ash with a $5 donation. Comparing the new Vader color and the 3rd gen AK paints, how do they compare and which colors would you recommend picking up? You know, honestly, they're super similar to AK 3rd gen as far as I'm concerned. One thing I like about their range is there's just such a wide variety of greens. There's so many greens to use, and I'm loving it. One that I am using a lot of is this like chartreuse color called Bile Green. I'm using it a lot to mix highlights, so I'll mix in a little bit of white and I'll mix in a little bit of this. Just a nice highlighter color. There's tons of great greens though that I've been using a lot of. They have a nice chocolatey brown color. I always want a rich chocolatey brown color, and this is called charred brown. This one fits the bill perfectly. In terms of express paints, Black Lotus is a great bluish black. I always struggle with like contrast paint equivalents, trying to get like a complete look of a black fabric like right after one application. But if you like apply this to like an object you painted with like a muddy green, you kind of like airbrush and you get like some overspray on other parts of the model, and it's like kind of like this value, like kind of this kind of swampy green color. If you put this on top of that, it turns it into a very convincing black fabric immediately. Like maybe one edge highlight and you're done. I find if you like base coat it with a brighter color, you know, like a classic white, like this, and then you apply like stuff like this or Black Templar, it just looks too not right. It looks too like you put contrast paint on a thing. Okay, so those 3 things are standouts. For the ropes for my Cawdor guys, these 2 colors are amazing. Earth and Desert Yellow. This is a nice ochre color and a nice yellowy brown to build up from. Use those a lot. It's a very usable paint range so far. Everything that I want, I have. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. The washes are matte. They're not glossy. And there are inks. I haven't used the inks yet though. You and your fucking rope. Vile or bile green? My bad. I think it's bile green. Yeah, bile green. I had a bit of choice paralysis picking which chapter to go with, but I just threw down some red and black on the tank and made a choice for me. There you go. Sometimes you just gotta do that, you know? What up, Jiminy? Will you get the model color Dew formula? You know, me and Vallejo don't really have like an ongoing relationship. They like randomly reached out to me and were like, hey, do you want this? So probably not unless I like go out of my way to ask for it, which like, Lord knows I do not need more paint. So probably won't be getting it. I don't need it, truthfully. And at this point, I can't really imagine there's much of a difference between model color and game color, aside from like the literal paints available in the range. Oh, so I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend it. Talking this long about paints and hobby stuff and not bad movies feels strange. We watched The Pope's Exorcist and the first Fear Street movie over the weekend, both worth watching. Neither one was amazing. Silly Scott, you always need more paint. I watched David Lynch's Dune movie again over the weekend. I also watched the first episode of the sci-fi original series on Dune, which it's basically just 3 movies. And I also watched Dune Part 2 by Denny. Will he be at Monty again this year? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to commit to anything at the moment. Steve Garcia recommended The Pope's Exorcist to me, and I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I don't want to say any spoilers about Dune, so Don't worry about that. And if you're in the chat, please refrain from sharing spoilers about the movie. But spoiler-free review, I really, really liked it. It was amazing. I wanted to see it again in theaters the next day. Tubbikins, one of us! I have nearly as many paints as I do minis needing said paint. I have a few paints from a range, then buy the whole range. All I want to know is if the spice flowed or not. You know, honestly, kind of didn't flow, you know? Which I don't mean that in a metaphorical sense. I mean that in a literal sense. Traders on Peacock. Jiminy, I just actually picked up a Peacock subscription for Amber, my wife, because she loves watching, what's it called? Oh, Love Island. And the Love Island USA apparently is on Peacock, so I might check it out. Fear Street was definitely decent. That's one I haven't seen either. A fun slasher series where the gore goes harder than you'd expect. Always enjoy that. Always. Well, enjoy is a strange word to say about liking to see gore, but you know. Okay. I don't have the paints that I used to paint this dude, which is potentially problematic. So you know what we're gonna do, actually? Let's just paint his shoulder entirely instead, and then I'll try to shore up the differences between the two paints. Yeah, let's do that. What up, Mark? Mark's one of the guys that played that Force and Destiny RPG with me. Spoiler alert, Rebecca Ferguson is still hot, covered in tattoos. I mean, Lady Jessica is the best part about that movie, for me personally. I mean, both movies. I fucking love her character. It is so cool. Is that the Shatterpoint Vader? Speaking of, sorry, it is, yes. My favorite Dune spoilers is that Obi-Wan kills Jareth the Goblin King during the time in the Black Watch. Nice, nice. Okay. All right. Let's get a bit of a darker red color so we can kind of work up into our crazy saturated red. We do have a nice saturated red, Scarlet Blood in the Vallejo game color. I haven't used the reds yet. Gory red, is that better? Yeah, we'll do gory red. What up, Azathoth? You're doing a good job covering up that heretical red. Scott, you have got to try at least the Dune audiobook. You know, HUD, I was actually thinking about that. And I'm like so thirsty for like Dune content right now. And I was like, I really owe it to myself just to read the book to like get more of that awesome world, you know? I'm so bad about reading. Whenever I buy a fucking book, I never fucking read it, you know? I could, but like I've purchased amazing books and I've read like 200 pages and I just stop and then I like never get back to it. It's so sad. It's so awful. Just the helmet left and you'll be all done. Working on a black coach today? That's pretty sick. It should not be this hard to remove the cap of your paint. And furthermore, this red thing should separate from the black cap when you first open the bottle for the first time. And I will say, it's never been this challenging. Okay, something went wrong inside the cap. That's fine. Whatever. What can you do? Monument Hobbies, what up, nerd? Even spelling it the branded way. Oh, I don't have any paper towel left. Holy shit! Hold on, fam. BRB. My paper towel dispenser has run out. Let me just deafen you all with the sound of crinkling plastic. All right, And now we're good for another couple months. Ah, what up, Jason? I feel like you'd be able to pull so much more out of the book after having seen the movies. Well worth the read. I only like the AI for the ability to have Gilbert Gottfried read Dune and From Beyond the Grave. That's kind of cool, actually. Try audiobooks first, my guy. Okay. Oh, that's cool, Atsu. You know what paint never has this problem? Pro-acryl. Love to hear it. A cap within a cap. I do, whenever I'm on a plane, bad taste aficionado, I am always pretty much reading. Or if I go on vacation, me and my wife often go on vacation, and it's like, we'll often like sit on a beach and just chill. When I do that, I always bring a book. This is a lot more challenging to remove than I thought it would be. All right, we're not gonna go through all this hassle. It's a nice dark red. Can't wait for Scott to play the Dune board game on stream too. I forget which one, because I've played Dune Imperium, not on stream, just in general, because that game's fucking awesome. Which one do you like a lot, HUD? Always cut away from your fingers? Yeah, dude. This happened when I was actually making food. I didn't curl in my finger enough, and I chopped the kind of like half my nail off. It's like I have it stuck to my finger with the Band-Aid. There's no point of the Band-Aid other than just to keep my fingernail attached to my finger. The original. Okay. I remember you saying that last time. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna do black. I'm gonna do black in the red. I'm not gonna do anything crazy with the shading. Let me just bump the exposure a little bit. Nice. I just need a full 10 hours to play it. Okay, so let's talk NMM. This is effectively a very large, it actually is flat in the middle. And then on the edges, it rounds off. So you have basically like little orbs here, maybe like a cylindrical orb. So kind of like a Space Marine shoulder pad here on the ends. And it's flat in the middle. It kind of actually scoops toward the bottom. And so we'll probably focus our hiding efforts largely toward the bottom on this middle part and like right here on the edges. And then we'll probably do less of a highlight right at the very top. Like the light is catching on the edges up there, but it's collecting mostly at the bottom. And then this stuff we will probably do is circular, like an oblong highlight right here in the middle of the shoulder, and then let it go dark here on the edges. And then if possible, we'll have it go dark on the edge closest to the cape as well. Kind of like when you look at this guy's face, you can see that it gets dark around the edges and it's bright in the middle. I kind of want that to happen here, so it gets dark on the edges when you're looking at it in the right spot, but bright in the center. That's the plan. Alamo6, thank you for the sub, appreciate it. Now the problem with this perspective that I picked is now I have to paint the chest from this perspective as well. So instead of it being front on and probably a lot easier to paint, it's gonna be kind of on an angle. And I don't really know how I'm gonna be able to do that perfectly. So I'm not gonna think about it too much. Gaboon! Thanks for the sub, appreciate it. All right, here we go. So we're going to take some of this black paint that I mixed with black. You know, it's kind of a very bloody red scarlet color. And we'll build up a lot of this color, keeping only a very small amount of black behind. So the thing is when you start to fix problems with your paint, I don't know, like when I come in with a shadow color to fix issues with shadowing, or shading, sorry. I often expand the area of shadow, and so I want to keep it pretty dark, because then it won't look too large. I always do this thing where I keep too much shadow around, and then bad things happen. It just looks awkward, it doesn't look right. Also, this color is so dark. It's so dark. I may actually just kind of paint all the way up, even. There's a Star Wars comic called Infinities that are non-canon. In one, Vader turned good and recolored his armor all white, and it was pretty sick. I fucking bet it's sick, dude. That sounds cool. So we'll kind of this will just kind of swirl into the shoulder. You know what? I was kind of curious, or I was wondering what I should be painting today. I should be painting Dark Eldar right now, not Darth Vader. Scott, do you use the mic plugged into your paint cam for stream audio? God, no. I hope it doesn't sound that fucking awful. No, I use a much more expensive solution. I don't think you necessarily care for me to explain. C-3PO's arm was red. Do you plan on weathering it a bit like that? What up, Teague? Probably not, just because it's hard to make something look shiny and red and also weathered. Maybe a different part of his armor could be weathered. Like he has glossy parts of his armor and then parts that are more susceptible to wear and tear. Maybe that would be it. Are you working under the assumption that the whole chest panel is all the same color red and it's reflecting light? Or are those panels alternate colors, and you're going to build up highlights accordingly? I'm assuming that I have a neutral light source. There's no, colored light of any kind. And what was that part of the question? Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be the same material as his helmet. And I kind of assume that it's going to be like the boots are going to be the same and the cod piece. All those are like, to me, shiny metal. And the rest is going to be like kind of like a fabric-y thing. Reminds me of the Imperial Guards. Yeah, for sure, for sure. They have red glossy armor as well. Now, I don't need to care about... Honestly, I don't need to care about staying in the lines. Someone help me out here. He's got like stripes on his chest. Are those stripes like gray? They're gray, right? So like the under part is black, and then the top part is equally as glossy, but it's gray. If you look at normal Vader, some of those stripes are, yeah, okay. Some are gray and some are black. The stripes are silver. They're silver. Well, silver would be exceptionally easy to do. With NMM, at least, yeah, in this situation that we're in right now. One thing that can feel weird is that while you're painting, you feel like you're committed to the choices you made. Oh, hold on. He's got a fucking fuzz on him. So what I mean by that is like, oh, I made the layer of color a certain size, and I feel the need to make sure I paint inside that layer. If you are painting and you are layering up and you identify the fact that, hey, I didn't make this layer big enough, just immediately blast past that border and just bring back that shadow color later, you know? Don't let your bad choices make a worse paint job. There's no gray on Vader. It's a trick of the gloss. That's definitely not true. There's definitely several shots of him from, I believe, the most original one. Maybe I'm wrong here, but his fabric is gray, not black. I think very early on, I think a lot of his like pants and sleeves were dark gray, were they not? Am I crazy? Am I crazy about that? Maybe I'm crazy about that. Amos Dean, I'm gonna give him a Sith War Sword. So we're gonna go with like a metal blade with glowing runes. Death gray fabric. Recently brought a friend into the wargaming hobby. He picked up a Stormcast Eternals Start Collecting box. Nice, dude. Congrats. Not getting great coverage with this red, let me tell you. Like just out of curiosity's sake, this is unthinned paint. That isn't too bad. I must be getting too much paint in my brush tip or something like that. Okay, now it's drying. Damn, dude, look at that. That's gonna require so much more coats of paint to get right. The dark black looks blacker because it's gloss. The gray stuff is just more matte. I mean, yeah, I understand that there's definitely some of that going on, but I thought for sure there was also some gray as well. But I guess I'm wrong. Okay. Let's just keep building up. Okay, that Paint drying looks smooth. Yeah, it's definitely smooth. I'm just trying to illustrate how, like, look at the wet paint and look at the dry paint. It's like orders of magnitude less saturated. In A New Hope, Darth Vader and everything was inconsistent shot to shot, probably based on how the costume interacted with the lighting. His chest was alternating gloss black and graphite gray. Gotcha. All right, cool. Appreciate the information, guys. Truly. I'm actually getting like kind of like a coffee stain effect where the paint is collecting most heavily. So like where I'm like lifting off with the brush, whether that's like at the bottom of an armor panel or like I was trying to adjust it and it was on top. Okay. We're starting to get there. A little bit of a blend from the top of his armor to the bottom. Now, let's take some of this Ultra Krill Red and we'll mix it with this, I think it's called Scarlet. What's it called? Gory Red. And we'll get a little bit of a step into our uber saturated red here. Again, I want to really cover up a lot of this dark red paint. Like I want to cover up like 90% of it, which is like actually pretty challenging to do. Oh my God, that's so much brighter. Took my daughter to watch the Columbus Fury fight last night. New pro women's volleyball league. Oh, cool. That was the first time seeing volleyball at that level. How was it, Teague? Holy crap, it was impressive. Dude, watching volleyball is so much fun. It is so much fun. It's just like, it's kind of like basketball in that the action is like pretty intense while it's going on. I think none of the words will ever do even half as well as Scott bringing Evan back to pull up a picture from a link. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so like immediately, that's one coat of paint. It is so substantially better. It is insane, actually. So like maybe what I can do now is like with a slightly thin version of that gory red, I can start to kind of like feather and stipple the transition so we get more of a blend and less of a matte wall that we kind of just run into. Something kind of like that, but don't worry about that yet. The Crimson Chaplain, thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your content. I want you to know your video about Song by Fire made me go buy Free Folk, Stark, Lannister, and Night's Watch for me and 3 friends, and I'm forcing them to play with me. But also, you're a jerk for making my wallet collapse. I'm sorry. That is a lot. Was it the battle report or was it the video where I'm talking about a song and describing why I like it so much? Also, I hope you enjoy the game. Hope you and your friends enjoy the game. Magenta Pikachu, the saber color, we're gonna do a metallic sword, and so I'm going to give Vader what's called a Sith war sword or war saber or something like that. So it's gonna be metallic, and then it's gonna have red glowing runes in it. I think that really works out for like what I'm trying to do here. Oh, nice. I can't wait to try out Song of Ice and Fire Tactics, honestly. I'm pumped. Also, polar bears are my favorites. Yeah, and they have that unit in the game, the big polar bear unit. And they're not like amazing, but they're also not bad. They're kind of like Iron Makers in that sense for the Greyjoy list. Which to me is like, you could definitely like make a list around them, either with, you know, one big fat unit or, you know, something less invested. Or sorry, like something more invested, I mean, like with two units of polar bears. Woo! Its color is so fucking saturated. It is crazy. I forget, we also have to leave some space for white. Gotta kind of pop into white to get that kind of glossy look. What's your process like for these tiny lightsabers? I mean, because there's no horizontal space to do any real blending, what I have been doing is I've been making it bright and white at the hilt, and then over here is where you reach max color saturation. I did a couple of versions where like the tip got darker. That doesn't really make any sense, obviously, because a lightsaber is a source of light, and so it should be bright. And so, yeah, I'd start at white here, and then at the tip, I'd get to the max saturation color, whatever it is. And that seems pretty convincing. Magenta Pikachu, I'm using Ultra Krill Red, a color that's unfortunately not available at the moment. And then I'm also using black and white, and then this color, which I'm not a super big fan of, actually, Gory Red from Vallejo Game Color. First coat was red. This coat is all caps red. I wouldn't be able to match the red of the helmet with the red of the chest. I don't understand how you guys do that, painting the same color on different days, mixing colors differently, not mentioning that yeah, for sure. I understand. I don't know about matching colors. The most important colors to match are the like kind of the midtones, because that's where like most of the hue comes through. And so a way you could do that is by glazing the color into those richer areas. But we'll see. We'll see how far away from this red we get, which it seems like this red is more of an orangey red, and whatever red I used, which was like the TT Combat red, was more of a scarlety red. We'll see how far away we get at the end, and then we can start making some choices. You're enjoying painting the Keeper of Secrets? I'm glad to hear that. All right, let's mix some titanium white into this Ultra Krill Red and get a peachy pink that we're going to be very, very sparing with. Because there is pink in NMM Red. It does exist, but there's just not a lot of it. It doesn't take over the miniature. Any good metal that I've been finding recently? You know what? I'm like really terrible at like actually looking for new music. All the new music I discover comes from other people. I don't know, like some people use like their Spotify discovery page and stuff, and I haven't gotten around to doing that. So no, I just listen to all the things I used to listen to in high school. Okay, so now we kind of take the model and you kind of like, you do effectively this. You know, and the more you need to squint your eyes, or in this case, change the focus of the camera, the less you're succeeding in NMM. So right now, it's not too hot. I think if we add a bright highlight to the top of the chest to give shape to this bizarre thing, that'll do us better. So let's try that, and then we'll check again to see if we were closer. All right, so let me remember to focus the camera. Quick consistency question. I'm painting a ton of thin lines to simulate fur on Malekith's tiger from MCP. Do I want thinner or thicker paint lines? So far, it's too thin. Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is probably a little bit of both. Because like, if you want to blend fur texture like that, you can't do it in a traditional sense, right? Because you lose the texture. And so the way that you need to do it is by building up layers. Like say you do like 50% gray on one layer, and then you do 75% gray. And then when you do that, you cover up a quarter of that last layer. And that's how you're gonna blend. And so in order to accomplish that, you need thin paint. But also you can't have it so thin that it doesn't show up because it's like, you know, translucent. So I would probably thin it with just water. But in the past, when I do techniques like that, if I want to get good flow off the brush for thin lines and also some good opacity, I would use ink. So if you're doing white ink and white paint, instead of using water, because then you'll get nice flow and it'll be nice and opaque. But you probably want a little bit of both. Arch Spire has been my recent metal fix. What genre is that? I was on a journey trying to get a sort of candy apple red NMM without any pink, let me tell you. I mean, why are you trying to do that? Hey Scott, I'm sure you've been asked this already. Have you seen Dune 2 yet? I have seen it. I saw it this past weekend. I saw it on a big screen with loudspeakers. I turned to my wife while I was watching it, and I was like, can't turn these speakers down, can you? My poor wife is, she's like sensitive to like loud sounds and stuff. It like increases her heart rate uncomfortably. So she probably hated the experience because it's like, there's so much combat in the second one especially. I fucking loved it. It was amazing. It was an incredible experience. It was a great movie. I can't wait to watch it again. Because of the effect I want, what is the effect you want to achieve? It was on a motorcycle. So do motorcycle gas tanks not have pink on them or something? Typically when red gets super shiny, there is a little bit of pink in it. It's you know, it's how it works. I was just curious why you're trying to avoid the pink. Okay. Let's do just the pure ultra krill red for the top layer, no pink. Oh, this is the wrong camera. Sorry, guys. Use more of a pale orange. Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. So just a different red hue. That is totally fine. You probably can't see a whole lot of what I'm doing right now. Okay, so he's looking at us this way, and so I kind of have this highlight more in the center of his shoulder, and then this highlight kind of fades away more, which is why it's not like symmetrical. But does that look good? That kind of looks like trash. Okay, oops, sorry, Cup. Did you have your first DM sesh yet? I did. It was actually 2 weeks ago, and it was great. We had so much fun. The Force and Destiny Star Wars system really encourages you to come up with like interesting narrative reasons for like why someone might fail with like a deficiency or succeed with a demerit. And so that had me like trying to figure out like different outcomes. I mentioned this in the podcast, but I want to mention it here. I had an experience that probably a lot of you DMs have, in that like one of my players has like a very high like charisma score, and he's like very good at like charming people. And so like one of my players like charmed a guard to let him across the bridge, but there was like another pair of guards at the other end of the bridge. And I was like, oh, he's just gonna do the same thing again. You know, he's just going to charm the other guard and he's going to be on his way. And so I had to like think of a reason on the spot for like why that like wouldn't happen, so that he couldn't just do the same thing over again. And so I was like, okay, this guard doesn't speak the same language as you do. And so it's like, you can't just re-employ the same solution you had last time. You guys ever had that problem where like a person, you know, you have a player who's clever and figures out a good solution to like a problem, and you have to kind of like make them play the game still? All right, let's before we read answers at that question, let's take a look. Okay, a little bit of that line on the top does help. The black lines also help to break up the surface and give us more of like a reflective look. I like the little points in the shoulders. I think that looks good as well. Okay. Albino says, the Dune movie makes you want to play Hawk Islam, right? Yeah, 100%. And that is the exact reason why I dig Hawk Islam so much. But yeah, for sure. So scared for, yeah, no Dune spoilers in chat. I couldn't be on Facebook for a week straight because it's like every other post on my feed was just like, here's a frame grab from the new movie. I'm like, oh no, my eyes, they burn. Yeah. You missed the boat on them? Oh dang, that sucks. Teague like League. Like they were available at my game store. That's where I bought them. There's still a couple versions actually. Here I enter on, he's good at charming people, and thought that's a special take on Vader. Yeah, he's not very charming. He's kind of stonewalling. It's important to keep in mind that being charismatic isn't just everyone will do what I want. It doesn't matter how charismatic someone is, I'm going to do my job. That's fair. That's very fair. I just didn't know how to like interact with that situation. It's like, okay, if we're following the rules of the game, you take a certain number of dice and you add a difficulty level, and then you take your skill, and his skill and charisma was just so high that no matter what he rolled, he was always beating that test. So you're probably right though. I should think more like that. More like what's happening in real life in this situation. OS Dub Zenkiki, as my wife says, better late than pregnant. This is true. Nice focus. Can we get a Dune war game? Yes, please. What the fuck? Please. Where is the Dune war game? I remember teaching a kid and seeing the Dune book on his desk, and I said, do you like it? And he just said, precious little sandworm in this book. That's kind of weird. Okay. Let's start to zhuzh it out a bit, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna start to glaze over these bright pink-white highlights, add them back, glaze them over again, add them back, glaze them over again, and just do that like a million times. Wow, that kind of, man, this Pro Acryl paint is it's nice. You gotta be careful with it though, because it's like very opaque. A lot of pigment load in here, as the cool kids say on the internet. Ooh, the pigment load, the gel medium. I always get a kick out of the fact that I feel like companies rarely talk about their actual manufacturing process. And there's just so many people on the internet that think they know exactly how a paint is made. And it's just like, dude, you have no idea. Just develop it yourself. Make a Dune game. Just make a Dune game. Yeah, I can't even handle making a volleyball game. You can handle making a Dune game? In situations like that, I have taken the tactic of, if they succeed with their charisma check, they won't get arrested on the spot. The guard will laugh it off and tell them to beat feet. That's fair. That's wisdom. That's DM wisdom speaking right there. Why did old-timey cowboy put lanterns on their horses at night? It was an early form of satellite navigation. Nice. All right, Scott. Since your story about MSBG with the Easterling, will you get into this game? Best CW game. I haven't gotten into it yet, but definitely wouldn't mind checking it out. I still want to like have like every game, like a painted army for like every game. I think that'd be so cool. But no, I haven't purchased any models. I am but one hobbyist, and I am a slow one at that. And so I'm currently working on Necromunda right now, and I just finished the gang, and so I need to make the video, and then I'll be on to my new thing, and my new thing will be 40K. But I do want to try that out at some point. All right, so now we're taking some of that gory red, which compared to Ultra Krill red is way more transparent. And we're going to like blend out some of these red to black, dark brown transitions. And then we'll take stock after that. It's like the wine snobs on paints. Yeah, kind of. Charisma checks could probably be used to get information from the guard or similar. They shouldn't be the equivalent of hypnosis. That's a good point. Some more DM wisdom in the chat. I was just trying to follow the rules of the game. You know, it was like when you do this kind of thing, do it this way. But you're right. There's so much about doing a role-playing game is just really visualizing like what is happening in real life. And I said this at the beginning of our session. I was like, because like, I don't know how much you guys do this, but like, if I can perceive the rules of a game, even in life, you know, like to me, walking the dogs is a game, right? How do I avoid other dogs so my leash aggressive dog doesn't bark? How do I go on a long enough walk so that I end up back at my house and it was like a good loop? Like all of that is like a game. And so I'm thinking constantly, how do I min-max this game? Oh, I see a dog walker walking away from me. I don't know where they're gonna turn, but if I follow them, I guarantee that I will never run into this dog walker, you know? Like I think like that for everything. And so it can feel that way when you're like trying to play an RPG. Like, how do I best min-max this experience? But like, that is not the right brain for role-playing at all. That is not, and that's why I don't think role-playing games in games are really the same at all. Because it really isn't about that. It's really more about just the experience you're creating with your friends, the story you're telling. Like you together are trying to make a story, and one of you is going to be the comedic relief. One of you is going to be this. One of you is going to be that. So it's like, it's just a totally different way of thinking, and I have to kind of like wrap my brain around that sometimes. What up, Miniatures Den? How was your time in Vegas? Are you still in Vegas? Are you still in the US? Are you gonna be at Adepticon? Because you're in the US right now? I'm freaking out right now. That's just called planning ahead. Swaddle. I missed what Swaddle said. But I'm assuming you said you painted your first model. If so, welcome. Welcome to the hobby. Don't overcomplicate it. Create a character and play true to your concept. For sure. And that is fundamentally what you're supposed to do. It's just hard to remember to do that sometimes. There are certainly groups that want to min-max everything. I would say if that's your group of joy, it's not really wrong. I kind of feel like it's wrong, you know? Yeah, the win for you is each individual has the best time while also balancing those experiences. Just got back in Spain today. Okay, cool. Would a real person do this? Yes. Lots of good advice on handling problematic charisma checks here. I find it hilarious that not only was this like an issue that you guys also experienced, but also that there's so many solutions to the problem as well, you know? Yes, bad taste aficionado. John said this to me as well. He was like, you know, if someone is excited about a thing, you don't necessarily want to take that away from them. You want to allow them to do it, but also not break the experience for other people. Rolls Royce. Been playing D&D for 35 years, and the best games are always the groups that know the least about the rules. Okay. That's a fun take. I'm just covering up the white and the pink with a diluted version of the Pro Acryl red. Kind of like what I'm doing with the gory red and the black and the brown. I have this, but with an archery guy. He will solve any problem with an arrow if he can, and he has the stats to do it. Have I seen the new Pro Acryl announcement? I have not. Any news on the thing I hooked you up with? Not yet, Vincenzo. We are in the process of chatting though. And by the way, thank you very much for the hookup. It's super nice of you. I really appreciate it. I would let him talk that one guard into letting him across the bridge, and then the guards on the other side would be like, "Damn it, Garland, not again. Do your job." And that's another great idea. You know, that is another great idea. You guys are awesome. I got a buddy who's just not super into the role-playing experience who played with us, but the rest of them had a ton of fun and want to play it again. I don't know if we're like sold on the Star Wars experience, or if we're going to think about playing maybe like a Dune RPG, because we're all kind of vibing on that right now because the new movie just came out. But whatever it is, I'm definitely enjoying DMing more than I am playing as a character. It's just fun. It's fun to facilitate that experience for people, you know? All right, starting to smooth some things out here. What's really going to send this over the edge are like edge highlights and stuff. And there's a specific edge highlight that I want to talk about that is different, but also going to really sell the effect. Yeah, we were chatting and he was like, "I need a big influencer to help with it." And I said, "Say no more." Well, thank you for thinking of me, dude. Seriously, like, it's amazing. There's a million creators you could think of, right, with that kind of question. And I appreciate you thought of me, for sure. Dune is just Star Wars for people who listen to Tool. So, Scott, I was thinking about your problem doing oil highlights on TMM. Oil highlights? OSL probably. Have you tried using the Vallejo metal mediums? It's almost like white metallic. I don't know, I haven't. That's definitely an idea though. You could definitely do that. DMing, tell me you weren't a people pleaser growing up without telling me. I do have a lot of fun like hosting like parties and like facilitating people's joy. Like I love like having a board game night where I get all the snacks out and I organize all like the tokens in a little bowls and I make sure all the chairs are nice and comfortable and like it's an enjoyable experience for everyone. I've read all the rules, I understand them, I'll watch videos on the games. I just really enjoy that. A lot of fun. And like all my friends are like yes men, like they'll do anything. And so like they're all just super chill about it. It's kind of interesting because like people always say like, "Oh, I can't play this miniature war game because I don't have any friends that play it as well." And my experience with gaming has always been my friends will play anything that I ask them to play. And maybe I'm fortunate in that, you know? But that being said, I have to kind of put in the work to make it happen. Doing some black paint right now. Oh, that's getting smooth. That's getting smooth, boys and girls. What kind of snacks? All kinds of snacks. I'm kind of into spicy snacks right now. So I've been getting some flaming hot stuff, but I love Swiss cake rolls. I love chicken in a biscuit. I love Groovits, which is like a variety of Cheez-It. That's kind of more like a child snack, but I think it's better. Scott, the Martha Stewart of board game night. Fuck yeah, dude. 100% that's me, dude. OSL. I definitely recommend the set for the Alien RPG. I got a buddy who really likes the Alien universe. He would fucking love that. Friend said the same thing about Song. I just have to provide the 4 armies for us. Okay. Nothing beats a good charcuterie. Oh, charcuterie, dude. Oh my God. Magenta Pikachu, speaking my fucking language. That's the adult snacks right there. I saw a funny joke where it was like, is it all that surprising that all of these children who used to eat Lunchables grow up to now really enjoy charcuterie? And I definitely understand that. Cheez-Its are union made. Okay, best cheese snack, very nice. Don't forget pizza rolls. I saw a hack where people were eating snacks while playing board games and avoid getting like Cheez-It dust on the game components. They were eating them with chopsticks. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, we've talked a lot. Good chats though, stream. They even make 3D printed spring chopsticks? Oh, nice, dude. That's how my daughter eats Cheetos? Fuck yeah, dude. Chopsticks, baby! Did you try Golden Demon again this year at Adepticon or in Germany at the end of the year? No, I haven't, but if I could be totally honest with you, the most recent time I said that I was gonna do Golden Demon, which I believe was at the beginning, I forget when it was, but it was like some months ago on the podcast. I still wasn't really feeling it. But now what's starting to happen is I'm starting to try really hard painting like gaming models. And so I think I'm beginning to become ready to actually like paint something. You know, okay, here's an interesting aside. I'm gonna be on a podcast. It was actually, the guy who's running the podcast is the person who worked for GW who used to be my community manager. And then I got the new guy. But the guy before Andy Talbot, the guy who it is currently, is running a podcast, and I'm gonna be a guest on his show. And he was like, send me 4 to 6 models that are meaningful to you. And so I started to look through the things that I've painted. And like all the things that I wanna pick are all things that I try super hard on. And I was like, man, you know what? Gaming models do give you that quick fix, that like really good feeling. And also finishing an army is an amazing feeling. And so one of the things I picked for the podcast was my completed SBG army. But man, there's nothing quite like the attachment you have to a single fig you spend 50 hours painting, or 100 hours painting, or 200 hours painting if it's a diorama, you know, or something like that. And that kind of made me think like, no, that's a value to painting these kinds of models. Like they really stick with you. So yeah, I think I'm starting to feel ready for some crunchier painting. Rolls Royce, I have not seen that book, no. Until you fuck up and grab a model with the chopsticks, yeah, nice. I'm just gonna stop top a demon model in a golden contrast paint for Golden Demon. Good luck. Good luck, sir. I struggle with this super hard because I love single model painting and putting my all into details, but iron painting is something I've done, but is daunting. I'm not necessarily sure. What's the problem? You're saying that the iron painting is more daunting than the painting of single figs. You know, I feel that. I made that video with Roman the Pot recently, and in it, or the title of the video is like, "Can a Golden Demon painter like teach me how to improve or help me improve?" And someone in the comment section, you know, they left kind of a snotty comment. They're like, honestly, Scott, probably not. You haven't improved in painting like at all in a long time. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. But one thing about that is I've kind of just invested more time in the painting of armies and of war bands and stuff like that. And I'm beginning to discover that for me, like they're a different skill set. And so, and that's kind of what I've been focusing on the last couple of years. So if you kind of take some time to kind of really figure out what makes it work for you, like what kind of result you're happy with your speed painting, it makes the process a lot better, a lot easier. Which maybe that's obvious. I don't know if that's obvious. Okay. Look at me paint on the face cam. Good job, Scott. Yeah, but minis for games gain extra value from cool things they do in games too. I guess they do, yeah. That being said, I can't really remember a model that's not a cool thing in a game. So for me, that's not necessarily a thing yet. Wolfgrave, I definitely have things that I can improve on. Okay, so I'm beginning to notice something. I planned this highlight to kind of like run away from Vader because of like the perspective that I picked. But I think actually that this is right, but it should actually curve in a little bit. This blackness here shouldn't be here. And I think maybe this highlight should come down a little bit. And it should be black toward the top of his cloak. I think I kind of fucked up a little bit, but it's gonna mess with everything. Oh, I know why I did that, because the cape is more on his shoulder on this side than it is on that side. So I kind of just followed the cape. That's why it looks kind of weird. At the end of the day, if I'm happy with my paint job, then I did a good job. That's kind of where I'm at, man. You know, I kind of feel that as well. That's kind of why I haven't been like really painting anything competitively. I'm just having so much fun doing other things. But I know I've said that in the past. Played a game for the first time over the weekend called Red Rising by Stonemaier Games. You guys ever played that game? Red Rising? I'm stoked. Today I'll be done with all my painting goals I had set for Adepticon. That's awesome, dude. Haven't heard of it. How is it? It's really good. You know, it's not like a super crazy game. What I mean by that is it's not a ton of components. It doesn't take a long time to play. It is a set collecting game, and so I guess what I mean by that is that you are trying to collect a group of stuff. And in doing so, you will earn points for that set that you have collected. And win points and beat your opponents. But it's good. It's based on a sci-fi universe that Jamie Stegmaier likes a lot. I forget the name of it though. Is it easier to airbrush the red and then work in the shadows? It kind of depends on your skill level with the airbrush. If you're able to like kind of work in these super narrow areas, then maybe, but I am not. And also, for me personally, when I'm like not sure how to get an effect, involving the airbrush does not make the effect happen easier. Like the airbrush is for stuff that I'm like pretty sure I know how to do already. If that makes any sense. It's like, okay, I've discovered the best way to do this thing that I'm trying to do, and now I can figure out how to do that thing with the airbrush and make it easier on myself. I feel like this needs to like kind of like curve down. It can't be like a straight line. I would love to have a war game that mimics old tactics video games. Can you give me an example? I feel like KDM has been coming up more often on the podcast. Any plans to revisit it soon? Not for me personally, no. I'm just checking right now. I keep painting in dark red areas, sorry, dark black areas, and then looking at this angle to see if what I'm doing is helping or hurting. What up, Chubs? We're gonna do a Sith War Sword, so a silver blade. With glowing red runes, which I think is gonna work great for the scheme. And it allows me to avoid my lightsaber conundrum. I'm starting to feel that. I'm starting to feel that a little bit. Like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactic Ogre. You know, I kind of feel like Marco Frazzoni does some godly things. Like, yeah, you know, so that's the kind of thing. Like, if you just are super good with the airbrush, then like it feels like an extension of your experimental hand. And for me, it's more of a efficiency maker, right? I'm already knowing how to do something, and now I'm going to make it faster, or I'm going to see how the airbrush impacts the process. But I'm not there yet with my airbrushing skills. I'm getting better though. That I do know, fortunately. All right, so if he's staring at the camera and we kind of got like this interesting kind of like kind of blobby thing going on here, I'm vibing with that. It's looking okay. I have a hard time differentiating turn-based like video games from just board games in general, because they kind of are like, I guess so basically what you want is like, what I understand about Final Fantasy Tactics, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, is that it's your standard turn-based video game where you have people standing in a line, and then you select one to do an ability on someone else, and they go and smack someone, and then they go stand back in their area in line, and then like there's like an initiative order for who goes next and stuff like that. Is that correct or not? Am I wrong about that? Tactics, you have a grid with elevation, attacks from side, behind, you do more. Okay. Yeah, actually, someone said Underworlds. That does seem like the right thing. Okay, now let's try a couple of those highlights that I mentioned. So, yeah, something like combat and D&D, yeah. Underworlds gives you that tile-based movement, positioning, push actions that you have seen in tactics games. Yeah, for sure it does. I'm gonna do this with pink. Oh, that was a bad one. Yeah, kind of. Activations based on speed and stuff like that. Activate the ability pass. Yeah, there's no facing in Underworlds. You're right about that. Lumix, can you give an explanation for your concept for Vader? I guess my whole thing with the Vader that I'm painting right now is that, like, if Disney can like change the way that things look in Star Wars, and it looks cool, and like I think it looks cool, like why can't I, you know? And so I figure, you know, the color red works really well for Vader. So let's try doing an all red Vader, a mono red. And so like everywhere where like his armor is normally glossy, so like his shoulder and his head, his legs, and his codpiece, so all those elements for me are going to be glossy red. And then all of the non-glossy, fabricy parts are going to be red as well, but just not glossy. That makes sense. If those ass clowns with the mouse can do it, why can't I? I mean, you know what? They even do it in like episodes 5 and 6. You see really cool stuff. Different stormtrooper outfits and whatnot. Your minis, your rules. Exactly. Makes sense to me. Contrast of gloss, not gloss would be cool. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. All right, now this is the dangerous part. I can't. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in a second. Or maybe I won't, if it's not really producing a convincing effect. Okay. Why is this not working? Okay, so oh, great to hear, Lumix Beast. So one thing that is confusing is that we do edge highlights all the time, right? And that helps. And that happens for a very specific reason. It happens because where two flat surfaces meet, never is the edge perfect. And there's always a roundover, a very slight roundover. And that is like a cylinder. It's like a long running cylinder. And with a cylinder, the highlight you get is that it runs lengthwise across the cylinder. So on the edge, along with the cylinder. So that is I always get these terms mixed up. That is a concave curve. It's the outside. I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong. But also, the exact same thing happens on a convex surface where the roundness is inside. So that same thing happens when two surfaces meet. So when the trim of this thing meets the flatness of his chest, there is a roundover. And so a thin little highlight would run along where those two things meet. And that helps to break up the surface as well. But yeah, that is like I just need to make the line, suitably thin enough. But that's one thing that I learned when I was examining red NMM photography in a video. Concaves in, convex vexes out. Concaves in. Okay, so I had it backwards. Concave, convex. All right, cool. Reverse it. Appreciate y'all. So that is why I'm beginning to do what I'm doing. And now the line is a little bit too bright at the very top. And so I'll start to kind of paint over it with red. So it kind of transitions from a pinkish line to a more red line. And then at the very end, on the edge, it'll go basically pure white. I'm vexed by the distinction. should definitely have some finger cots on right now. Like putting my finger directly on top of his fully painted helmet. And that is absolutely going to wipe paint off. Whatever happened to that office/studio? I'm in it right now, brother or sister. Stop keeping up on the videos on the time you were moving in. Have a separate space like that. Sounds awesome. Yeah, dude. It is awesome. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Guy Montags, no, it won't be red. I think I'm gonna do a Sith War sword, so a silver blade. Nope. Yeah, this is we're in the office right now. What is this on? Where's 24? It's all dark right now because I have the lights in the studio off. But yeah, we're in the old office right now. The fourth wall has been broken. The concave part of Vader's chest metal. The concave part of Vader's chest, like you clasp the Duchess on her silk dress, the thinnest highlight. Exactly, Jiminy Paints. You were at the Vegas class. I remember actually talking about that with you, or just with the class in general. But yes, that is true. Phoenix Games, I think we're missing the first part of your question, but ultimately the question is you need a co-host for Tap Under Plastic. Who would you choose from all the other content creators? The question is like, who do you want to have conversations with? Like, is this just like one time, or is this like take a month off? Okay, a month off. So just one time? Probably Squidmar. I would love to chat with Squidmar about YouTube. I don't know if that'd be an interesting conversation for you guys, but like I would love to just hear what his thoughts are. No, I didn't, but like I have all of the structural framing here for it, HUD. It just actually got moved into the office recently. Yeah, I thought I figured Phoenix Games. No worries. Nice, Rufus. Excuse me. Probably going for a pristine look, Logic Boy. If you got the commission to paint a 1-to-1 scale unit of any army, what would you pick? A 1-to-1 scale unit? You mean like painting like literally like a 10-foot tall Space Marine? Is that what you're saying, Wolfgrave? Don Haney would be good too. I just had lunch with Don Haney actually. He's a great guy. Oops. Wolfgrave, is there a reason why the question is asking 1-to-1 scale? Probably like something really small, like a bunch of bomb rats for Cawdor. Full army of Nurglings. Okay, I understand. So what would be most fun to paint on a 1-to-1 scale? I feel like I don't know the answer to that question. Drones from Tau because small. An Emperor class battleship. I kind of feel like this corner just dipping down into darkness wasn't really doing anything for me. So let's bring it up. One-to-one Blackstone Fortress. We're gonna need bigger pots. Manta diorama, nice. Dipping Down into Darkness is my Midwest emo band. Dipping Down into Darkness. It's a very appropriate Midwest emo band name. I feel like with NMM, most time, you don't want like a ton of actual black, like kind of sticking around. And so often when I kind of get to this point and I'm like, you know, it doesn't look right. Like there's something wrong with the piece. I think one of the first things I try to do is I try to maybe fill in some of those larger dark areas with like a secondary highlight or a tertiary highlight, or I try to break up some shadow color with you know, another shadow or another highlight that's not as bright as the main ones. Yeah, I think that's nicer when that kind of like dips down, as opposed to just being black all the way into the corner. What up, Nightly Defeat? You've been bumping some Midwest emo recently? Hit me up with a band. That mini just force choked me. Nice. Hi, Nightly Defeat. Ooh. Man, when you have like a rounded object, I don't know if you guys have been watching a lot of the stream, because you know it's a long, boring thing, but I just keep adding a pink and a white dot and a pink and a white dot and glazing over it with my saturated red. And like at a certain point, you just get this lovely like circular kind of like halo or circular highlight, and it just looks really nice. It's nice and soft. Doesn't look not red, it still looks red. Thank you, Nightly Defeat. I appreciate that. I think we can even push this highlight a little bit closer to this circle. Let's do that. Nice, thank you, Rufus, appreciate it. Fire forming a band to be called Homeschooled by Wolves, nice. Cursive, it's one of my go-to for Midwest emo, okay, Cursive. Hot Mulligan is the name of the band, okay, I thought you were just saying some random shit. I've always wanted to be in a band called Autopsy Turvy. That is fucking sick, you know? As an appreciator of good names to another appreciator of good names, that is a fucking sick name. Hot Mulligan is great. Okay, all right, we got two Recs for Hot Mulligan.
Modern. I've heard of modern baseball. That is definitely one I've heard of. Autopsy Turvy though, that takes the freaking cake. Okay, I think we need to do something about the problem. The problem with having these bright edge highlights toward the bottom is that they need to be elsewhere. Like it also needs to get to bright white there and bright white there. But I'm just like concerned that's just not gonna look good. Well, let's see what they look like as pink. Excuse me, Jesus Christ, I'm a monster. Okay. Resin poisoning. I'm using the most important color that I'm using right now is Ultra Krill Red. That's the one doing all the heavy lifting right now. I'm also using Gory Red from Game Color as my dark red color. That's also has terrible opacity. Yeah, otherwise, Ultra Krill is doing all the work. Vincent Price's Orphan Power Death Machine. Jesus Christ. Do you think it's considered a skincare routine when Vader takes off his helmet? I suppose it's gotta be. Speaking of names, who all is hell diving and what are your ship names? Mine is the SES Elected Representative of Family Values. Nice. How is Ultra Kill compared to TAP Fanatic? They're a different league of paints. So I feel like VGC, Tap Fanatic, like AK Interactive 3rd Gen, like any of your modern miniature paint ranges, those all kind of exist in a world. And then you have Ultra Krill and like Chimera that are kind of doing this soft-bodied, single pigment thing. You also see that in Pro Krill a lot as well. Not a lot, but it's definitely in the range. They're like a good hybrid of those two. So yeah, I would say they're in a different league for sure. Okay, so now the hard question that we have to ask yourself, that everyone has to ask themselves when they're doing NMM is this looking like NMM? From that angle, certainly not. But this is the one that I've been working on, this angle.
some things look nice, but other things, I don't know.
The stripe at the top's kind of fucking with me a little bit. I don't know what to do about that.
I don't know. Looks like MMA. What? Looks like MPP. I don't know. What is? I don't know what's going on. The finish in movies appears to be high gloss. Yeah, I'm trying to get to that red, Gareth Nicholas, or is it Nicholas Gareth? What's his name? I'm trying to get to that red high finish that he seems to be able to manage to achieve. Sometimes context helps as well, like painting a neighboring part of a miniature in a similar way. Non-plastic, nice. My anime always looks like shit until it doesn't. Absolutely.
Yeah, probably slightly Yasku. Probably that would be a helpful reference material. Okay, let's try to mix it up here.
Red Vader, fuck yeah. I would think for something gloss, it needs yeah, you're right, Citizen Perfect, it does. It's just hard. It's hard to add those glistening points of bright highlight without, I don't know, just kind of killing the illusion. Like, let's just do it just for the sake of it, right? So there is a specular highlight developing on his shoulder right here. So this is where you would get a dot, right? Obviously, it can be brighter than that. There's another dot, like even though that dot is like microscopic, it looks wrong. And I think it's because I'm thinking of this the wrong way. Like, it's not, I'm thinking of it in a diffuse material way. I'm not thinking of it in a glossy way. The shape of this highlight would obviously be impacted by the shape of the material that I'm painting, so his shoulder stuff, but it would also look a certain way based on the shape of his light. Like if the light is rectangular, the light would be rectangular, and maybe like having a more aggressive, not blended highlight. That's the other thing, is that really glossy material doesn't, like, the blending isn't honestly that aggressive. There's more of a harsh look going on. Hold up, I got a video how to pick red armor. Nice. I don't know what video that is. Yeah, those glistening highlights are tough, and I had the same problem with Christmas ornaments on. Yeah, exactly. That'd be the same thing. Christmas ornaments, yeah. I don't know what to do.
think maybe I'm not doing something right to get the chrome, the super glossy look correct. I try to add more, you know, I'll like add some like right here, like we're building a highlight right about there. Maybe like right here in the middle area where like this part is like really flaring out. Ah. Something's going on, something's happening. Oh, it's my video. Nice. Do you have any reference images? No, I don't. I'm kind of just winging it. Just kind of seeing what happens. Taking some more of this nice diluted red paint and painting over this pink now to kind of bring everything together. Okay. I think we're gonna move. We're gonna move somewhere else just for the moment, give our brain a little bit of a rest. And we'll work on this weird part of the shoulder. Man, dude, I have touched this thing so many times and done this, but it's not breaking. He needs a waist cape as well. Yeah, dude. I think we're actually going to just paint in the area that needs to be highlighted with like an opaque color, and then I'll paint on top of it with this gory red, just because, my God, it is taking so long to get opacity with this awful color. Crazy, you know? It's crazy how different of a hue that is now that it's painted on top of white. I'm zoomed in too much. They're forgivingly flexible until they are not. That is totally true, yeah. Uh-oh. Is my phone being an idiot? Yeah, okay, whatever. So I mentioned this earlier in the video. Looking up Imperial Guard armor, I found a comic book about them, and it looks like their artist is highlighting with an ice yellow or a pure white. Not really, yeah, not really any gradation at all. That's the other hard part, is like, I don't know how to like, how to make stark white highlights work, you know? Like you have to have it really figured out if you're gonna do that, you know? Anyways, I mentioned this earlier on in the stream. I watched David Lynch's Dune again, actually last night. So the first time I watched that, I was kind of sleepy, kind of falling asleep and shit. But after watching it and staying awake the entire time, I can say reasonably safely that movie is very bad. Like, it's a very bad movie. The costume department, the set dressing team, they're working overtime. They did an incredible job. But like everything else about that movie is pretty bad. I know it gets a lot of critical acclaim, probably mostly because it's a David Lynch movie, but yeah, in my opinion, it's like as good as a Italian B horror movie, if I'm being quite honest. It's so, yeah, for sure. Campy good times, for sure. Sting was going to hang dong in that movie until the producer's guy, and he comes out of that steamy shower and he's like, just looking all glorious. And he's just like kind of like smiling with his kind of crazed look. He has that look the entire movie. The original, yeah. So I just actually read this, Citizen Perfect, is that the original cut was 4 hours. Not only was the original cut 4 hours, but I think he was expecting to make a sequel as well. Lynch cut it to 3, studio wanted 2. Yeah. I haven't seen John Cena. No, the John Cena bit. I feel like that's an insult to Giallo films. I'm not sure if you can really insult Giallo films. They're pretty awful, which is kind of the point. Why are you licking the paintbrush? Trilogy. It was a trilogy originally planned. Okay. Why am I licking the paintbrush? It sharpens the tip of my brush instantaneously. It voids the material on the brush. So if I want to put some paint on it and feather it out, I can grossly consume the brush and then feather it out. Everything dries so fast when you're painting in this volume on a miniature because you're using so little paint. We're using acrylic-based paint, acrylic water-based paint, so it dries even faster. And so to kind of like speed everything up, because I'm kind of like operating all in this 3-inch bubble, I can just bop and get right back into it before the paint dries. So it's multiple things. Because red is the best flavor. Yeah, Guy Montag's, yeah, basically. Half of the 1984 Dune movie is like pretty accurate to the books. And they're like, oh shit, we got a ways to go. What kind of cornbread do you want to make? Do you want to make a sweet one? Or do you want to make a savory one? I can give you my mom's recipe for a savory one. because it's sterile and I like the taste. That's true also, is that it wets the tip of the brush, yeah. Kind of just filling out. Honestly, it looks more convincing from this angle than it does the angle that I'm fucking trying to do the fucking painting for. Savory and spicy. I don't have spicy, but obviously you can just make it spicy however you want. I think you're a vampire and you lose control when you see. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, I mean, that looks pretty fucking good when you hold it far away. I'm digging it, actually, especially that other angle. Dude, jalapeno cheesy cornbread is kind of good on its own. That is true. I'm kind of agreeing with what everyone's saying, though. I'm always dipping it in soup or slathering it in butter. But that being said, jalapeno cheese cornbread is just good by itself. So my eyes are going. Even with glasses, have trouble seeing details when painting. Any suggestions? I'm fortunate enough that it is not happening to me, but so I can't speak from experience. But could you use like a magnifying lens headset or the kind that clip to your glasses? Would that work? Scott, what do you think of a display shelf that can be removed and made into an army carrying case? I think that's actually a pretty cool idea, honestly, having shelves that match the size of your carrying case so you can just pull out the shelf and put it into your case. That's a pretty cool idea for sure. I used to make special jalapeno cornbread muffins back in college. Anyone's baking in college, you know. Recently started using reading glasses from my local pharmacy, about £5, made a massive difference for me. There we go, someone with experience. That's cool. I need to share something with you guys. If you, like me, if you like to wear mid-top shoes like these Vans, but you have a wife that's impatient or a partner that's impatient, or you don't like tying them, they make laces that look like laces but are stretchy. And so you can just take the shoe off. And now I never have to tie my mid-top Vans ever again. Come on. This is life-changing for me. I don't know if it's life-changing for anyone else. The company is called Bread, I think, that makes the laces. You got to kind of tie the shoe the right amount, but just for proof, like here's my shoe. Oh God. Boom, no tying, just back on. Look at that. Amazing. Are they silicone? I don't know what silicone. I don't think so. I have no idea, actually. Holy shit, yes. Yes, everyone should freak out. I run into this issue every day. Dude, my wife gives me so much shit for how long it takes me to tie my shoes. She also gives me shit for sitting down to tie my shoes. It's like, bruh, you're fucking 5'4". You don't gotta reach down very far to tie your goddamn shoes. Zipper Converse, whoo, Velcro is next. You fucking know it, dude. Oh, I don't think they're silicone. No, they're not like, I don't know if those were hard at all. These kind of feel like normal laces. But I don't know. I've got mid-top Nike SBs and they become untied if I don't double knot. Yeah. I'm a fat dude on top of my wife being the same as far as not waiting for me. So you just increase my quality of life. Hell yes. Glad to hear it. Like, I love wearing these shoes, but it's such a pain in the ass to put them on. But now it is no longer. Okay. So if we're painting like a chromey red NMM and the highlights are as stark, the highlights are stark, that also means that the shadows would be just as stark. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to sneak up on the result that I'm looking for here. I'm not trying to just like haphazardly slap down paint. I want to actually make it look right. I'm trying to like paint in the area where I have the shadow. I'm kind of fucking up, honestly. I've been painting for the past while and haven't been looking at your NMM, but it's looking really good. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Why don't you just lace your shoes up before your wife is ready to go? Oh, you think I'm on, Ash, you think I'm on top of my fucking game and have to tie my shoes before we're ready to go? You overestimate my planning abilities. She's ready to leave and I'm like showering, you know? It's a bad situation. kind of messed up this little area right here, unfortunately. This is alternate red Vader coffee house. Hell yeah, Stark Sworn Swords? Nice. What are the odds, Buzzard? Welcome. That's like my wife. We need to leave in 20 minutes, and she's like, I'll just take a quick shower. 40 minutes later, I tell her I'll just wait in the car. Nice. Scott, another question for the shelf. When the army case is not in use, keep it empty or fold and store? I always appreciate tools that are able to stay together, you know? Like I love it when I buy a camera rig and like it needs an Allen wrench, and the Allen wrench is magnetically stored in the cage itself. So whenever I need a thing like that, it's just right there. And so coming back to your question, if you had a miniature travel case that shared shelves with a display case, I guess if somehow the case was able to attach to the device so that they were always together, that would be cool. And so like, I guess if it folded down, that would be nice. But the challenging part about product design is that sky is not the limit. You know, you can't just like make it the coolest thing ever, because if it can't be made, or if making it requires you to make the product cost a ton of money, then you're never gonna make it, or you won't sell any of it and it won't be profitable. So you have to find this in-between area, and sometimes you have to kind of kill your darlings. And if it's like, if storing my thing or if making it foldable makes it impossible to make, then is it worth it? Probably not. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Professional pin, like it kind of like slides in, or it goes on like a little slot on the side, you know, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? What if the shelf had a back and the case folded up and slipped in a pocket on the back of the shelf? I don't know if I can really visualize that. What colors are you gonna do as buttons? I'm kind of concerned about the color green. I'm thinking orange and yellow, probably. If I did green buttons, I'd probably make his eyes green as well, which is definitely an option. He needs pinstripe pants. I am picturing the IKEA shelves with squares, okay. The case is like an MDF thing, kind of like that thing. Something with a K, Calvax. The case is like an MDF thing that slides in there with little trays and then a nylon cover with handles. Okay, thank you, Calax. Okay, so it just like kind of slots into one of those cubes, and that is the carrying case. Not a bad idea, but you're kind of limited to a small carrying case then. A 2x2x2, I think, is what they are, right? Or maybe not, I don't know. Why don't you just have stackable cases with clear sides? Kind of like this. I bought this at Adepticon maybe 3 years ago. And, all right, see you, Alamo. And I don't think this company exists anymore. These are 3 different kill teams painted by my friends who I was trying to make a video with. I mean, they're pretty much all done. This thing is kind of more industrial looking and more like a case than a display case. Yeah, they can all detach and whatnot, and they're magnetic, so like they don't like move around a lot in there. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess if the question is why not make the carrying case a display cabinet itself, you suddenly limit yourself a lot. It's like, okay, for it to be a carrying case, it needs to, show off the models. It has to have a clear front. So that's like a new material. It's like, okay, it's gonna get dirty and scratched and not look very nice. Whereas a display cabinet sitting in your house would just be clean and nice all the time because you're not carrying it around to game stores and stuff and bumping it into like door handles and like, on shit like that. So you ask, the moment when you want to make something multi-purpose, you make it more challenging to create. And for me as a gamer, I'm a gamer now, guys. I kind of always feel like my rhythm is I take things out of the cabinet, I put them in my carrying case, I go to play games, I come back, I put them back in my cabinet. So if like the shelves were the same thing, then it would be super easy for me. Now the one problem is that my display cabinet has like 4 feet wide shelves. And those look really nice, and small shelves don't look really nice. So that's kind of another problem you run into. I don't know, just some thoughts. I like the idea though. I think there's a possibility there. Just bought a bunch of those really useful boxes. That's a brand name. I've heard of that before, I believe. And the magnetic receptive sheets. And my only complaint is that I don't have a box big enough for Bellicor. They must be pretty small then. The weather is stunning. Is it stunning? It was so nice yesterday. What is it? Oh, I can't see. 65 fucking degrees. Let's go, dude. Holy shit, that's super nice. My button's gone now? Dude, this Stream Deck app is so fucking ballsack, dude. It's not good at all. All right. 65, goddamn. Supposed to get a foot of snow in Colorado tomorrow? Goddamn. I'm going to the UP this weekend with my wife for her birthday. That'll be fun. I don't know how it's gonna be. 80? Woo! That's hot. 71 in Chicago area? Woo! Adepticon is gonna be good this year. I always like it when it's warm. Go out to the car, grab your shit. It's nice. It snowed in Vermont. Don't worry, we're done. Yeah, it'll get cold. Just snowed in Vermont. Okay, cool. Mr. Funkadizzle, Red Vader today? Hell yeah, dude. Red Vader indeed. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of low-key jinxing it right now. I might have to ask Gareth for some feedback here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm kind of fucking up. I do appreciate the input. I get the spurts of design ideas, and I have to see if it's a... Yeah, for sure, dude. I love talking about ideas for hobby tools and stuff like that, for sure. Gonna scratch build a Seth sword. I'm gonna look. I think it's always good to kind of check out what you have first. So I'll look at my bits first. I'll see if I have kind of a runic blade, and then if I don't, then yeah, I'll scratch build it. Or maybe I'll like use something that I have that's kind of like the right size, and I'll build on top of it. Which that's also a lot easier to do than scratch building. All right, let's do our test again. I wonder, oh no, the remote is broken now. Stupid app. Kind of like, if we defocus the image, which is kind of like looking at the model like far away, or like squinting your eyes a little bit, is the effect coming through? Kinda. Yeah, Mr. Funkadizzle, we're gonna do a Sith War sword. It's like a silvery sword. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go full red. Although I don't know what red fabric is gonna look like. That might look kind of shit, honestly. We'll see. I think I might want to do like maybe like brown leather or something like that. Someone said I should do like a furry interior for his cloak, and I was like, that's kind of a sick idea, not gonna lie. Hemp Vader, dude. Dark magenta also works.
Just turn the saber into a cane, dude. Geriatric Vader. Let's go. Add on a gold chain, dude. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's where the pinstripe pants come from, eh? Pimp Vader. All right. It all comes back to the the pinstripes. I thought you said Philistines. Jesus. Okay. We're going to snap a pic of that and we're going to send it off to the one guy I know who knows how to do fucking litty NMM red armor. And I'm going to be like, yo, what am I doing wrong? And he's going to be like, skip the pink, go straight to white, you fucking woman. And I'll be like, oh God. I can't do it. I can't do it. More like pimp stripes? Nice. Have I seen the Jake Bartok art where he does an alternative Star Wars concept? I haven't, no. Not about Vincey? No, not Vince. Nicholas Gareth. Guys, legendary. It is really challenging to want to paint these bands and have them paint the edges of them without also covering up these white little stripes that I'm doing. I'm trying to not get them in the recess or on the edge of the detail, but more in the recess. It's challenging though. All right. It's kind of good enough for now, I think. Oh, do we just get a raid? Jamie Daggers. What is going on? Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Oh, man, I'm sweating right now. We're just about to end our stream, sadly. Just because it's about 4, typically when we end the stream. But thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. 69 raiders. Fucking nice, dude. Nice. What are you guys doing in your stream? You painting something? Oh. In our stream, we're painting up a red Darth Vader, all kinds of sacrilegious. Trying to basically take all the black elements and make them red. So where the red is glossy, we'll paint the red glossy. Where it's a fabric, we'll paint it like fabric. But instead of black, we'll do it in red. Excited to see Adepticon. Hopefully your prep is going well. I was working on my Resin Beast diorama. Nice. You know, one thing I didn't think about was that I could paint something for a different painting competition. It doesn't need to be Golden Demon. I could paint this Darth Vader for the MCP painting competition. I didn't think about that. Maybe I will. We'll see how much time I got. But I'm certainly trying hard enough on this figure to like submit it into a painting competition. That's kind of my issue with like my Cawdor stuff, is that everyone's like, oh, you should enter your Cawdor stuff in Golden Demon. And by everyone, I mean just John.
And I'm like, there's so many things about this paint job that I would have done so differently if I was painting it for competition. And now that I have to fix it, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. I can't get my paint to look like that for the like of me. It's always too thin. I was working on GD, but shelved it now because it was just taking up too much of my time. Yeah, it takes a long time. It does. That would be sick. They also do golds for everyone who earned it system at the AMG, which is great. Okay, so it's like an open system, is that what you're saying? I started a Lady of Mines for fun, and chat told me I should enter it. Then I lost all motivation. You're like, ah, shit. There's only one best in show, but everyone beyond that ties for second. Okay, interesting. Everyone should enter GD if they want, but there is also nothing wrong with just painting for yourself and enjoying the process. For sure, yeah. And I could definitely like enter some Cawdor stuff into Golden Demon, but I guess to me it's like if you're gonna like enter something into a painting competition, you're kind of making a statement. And this is not, I'm not saying this for anyone else other than myself. I feel like I'm making a statement where it's like, this thing that I'm painting is good enough to be judged for Golden Demon. Like I'm making that choice. Because I never understood like the value of entering a thing into a competition if you don't intend to like try to win, right? You could say that like, oh, hey, like you're doing it because you want feedback from the judges, but the Golden Demon judges give you fucking shit for feedback. So that isn't the reason why you would enter something for fun at Golden Demon. So I've never understood that. My statement would be that I am bad. How about just the experience? That is true. That is also a totally valid thing. Like the, oh my God, here's an impending deadline. I'm gonna paint something as best as I can and have the courage to put it in. Like that is totally a thing. I've definitely done that, been there before, and you know, I don't need to do it again, at least right now. But maybe in the future. But you're right, Flossmith. The experience is definitely good. Oh, also, because of the thing we said earlier, you often look back on the pieces you tried super hard on with a lot of admiration and a lot of like just good feels. So like I think they're a good thing to do because like they when you look back in your painting history, you just feel great about them. That's another reason. I do like the enter it to be seen ideology, but I also don't want to enter something I'm not 100% confident in. Feedback is huge too, but I don't think GD is very good with that. It isn't. I'd submit that Necromunda gang I did, but A, I don't think it's nearly good enough, and 2, I don't want them to break my shit. Yeah, think about that. If you just like entered a thing just for the fun of it and they broke it, like you literally are just losing out. You know, you've gained literally nothing, unless you like are doing it for the first time or second time or third time. I don't know. I'm excited though to see all the beautiful Golden Demon pieces. It's gonna be amazing. All right, y'all. I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for the raid, Jamie Deckers, right here at the end. I really appreciate that. Who should we send these people off to? Who should we raid now? Let me know, guys. I had to make some tough calls with other obligations I had leading into Adepticon. I'm working on a game to demo there, Resin Beast, and just the desire to, I don't know, have fun at a con. Yeah, it's important. It's important to have fun at the convention. That's what they're there for, honestly. That's what I try to do. I trust my models more in the meat grinder than the hands of GW judges. I don't know if it's that bad, brother. That's brutal. You have a good night too, Logic Boy. Who should we host? Who should we raid? Where should we send the love? Oh, thank you, Mike Genie. I appreciate that. One nice thing about the Vader model is that, you know, kind of, there's not a lot of metal on him, you know? The vast majority of him is fabrics. Aside for this glistening cod piece and his two leg armor things. And even that, the backside of his calves aren't armor, it's just the front side. So once we finish these next two parts, which should be a lot easier than the very bizarre helmet and shoulder piece, they're kind of interesting shapes. You know, we're kind of home free in a way. Thank you, Bad Taste Aficionado. All right, I'm gonna find someone to raid, and then we're gonna do that. I'm gonna be off camera for a second here. I'm just going over to the producer machine. We're gonna find someone. I'm gonna talk to you. Let's do Monument. Let's do Monument. Monument's good. They're good people. What's the name of the channel though? I have to like remember it so I can type it in. Fuck it. I'll do it from over here. Oh, Goobertown. Let's say hello to mediocre hobbies. Okay, someone had an opinion. We'll go with the opinion then. Mediocre hobbies. There it is. All right, here we go. I'm gonna send you guys over to Mediocre Hobbies. Thanks again for all of the love and support. I appreciate it, y'all. I'll see you again on Tuesday next week for another painting stream before we leave. See you guys.